Why a $100 salary still feels broke. People say that once you hit $100 a year, you're stable. No more stressing over every bill. No more counting every meal. No longer part of the vulnerable class. At least, that's the story people tell each other. You wake up every morning in a house the bank owns more than you do. Housing gets paid first. No negotiation. No delays. Nearly half your income disappears just so you're allowed to stay where you are. Then comes insurance. You pay every month to feel safe. But one emergency visit is all it takes for everything you saved to evaporate in a few hours. You have insurance. And you're still afraid of getting sick. If you have kids, the story gets even shorter. Daycare arrives before your paycheck does. You go to work to pay someone else to watch your child. At the end of the month, you look back and realize you worked all day just to break even. Because the truth is, $100 is no longer rich. It's just the price of admission to a life called stable. But let's look at it from a different angle. Housing, rich on paper, poor at home. You earn $100 a year. On paper, it sounds like you've climbed to another tier of life. But every month, rent or a mortgage arrives before your salary does. 30, 40, sometimes 50% of your income vanishes. In exchange for something very simple. A place to sleep. In major cities, $100 doesn't buy comfort. It only buys permission to stay. Not spacious. Not abundant. Just enough to avoid being pushed out. The house used to be called an asset. But for many people, it no longer produces anything. It's just a massive fixed expense. Repeating every month. Non-negotiable. Emotionless. On paper, you look stable. But inside that house, you're still calculating every bill. And then there's more. Health insurance for a family isn't a few $100s. It's several thousand a year. And that's just the entry ticket. Deductibles. Co-pays. Small fees that, when added together, can erase your savings in a single emergency. You have insurance. But every time you see a hospital bill, you still hold your breath. You're no longer afraid of illness because of pain. You're afraid of illness because of its price. And that's the paradox. Without insurance, you go bankrupt. With insurance, you still can't afford to get sick. In the end, you realize what you're actually doing. Paying every month. Just to pray you never have to use it. Monthly daycare costs are on par with rent. Not a premium option. Just the minimum required so you can go to work. Every morning, you leave home. Hand your child to someone else. Then work all day. Just to earn money, to pay for that very arrangement. Don't send your child to daycare. And you can't work. Send them. And your account is nearly empty. You're not getting poorer. But you're not getting ahead either. At the end of the month, you face a hard truth. You worked all day, just to break even. Seen from the outside, it sounds almost absurd. 6 figures a year, and still counting every dollar. You laugh. But it's a bitter laugh. Because it's painfully familiar. Not because you're reckless. Not because you manage money poorly. And not because you didn't try hard enough. Because none of these expenses are optional. Housing. Insurance. Daycare. You can't avoid them. You can only pay. And for once, this story doesn't blame the individual. It points straight at the cost structure of a life called stable. A system where you can do everything right and still never see surplus. That's why this story hits a very specific group. You're not poor enough to qualify for help, but not rich enough to step outside the game. You're in the middle. Stuck. You did everything society asked of you. Education. Work. Climbing each rung of the ladder that was drawn for you. But every time you check your bank account, what remains is just enough. And the unspoken message is this. You didn't fail. You're not lazy. You didn't mismanage your life. It's simply that this system was never designed for you to win. $100 is no longer rich. It's just the admission price to a cage called stability. In the end, you swallow a difficult truth. $100 isn't wealth anymore. It doesn't buy freedom. It doesn't buy peace of mind. It only buys a ticket. A ticket into a life labeled stable. Where you don't collapse, but you don't rise either. A cage soft enough to endure, and tight enough that you can't escape.